Hey, how's it going? Feeling it's alright. Yeah, just let me know if you can hear me. Hopefully you can. Okay, cool. Just checking. How's it going? Yeah, I'm okay. There are some slight nerves going into this, but hopefully things will be alright. And hopefully you can learn some things. Hopefully I can teach some things. For this lesson, Jackie will be one of the characters used, but in future lessons there will be multiple characters showcasing different things, so it won't just be a Jackie fest every time. Oh, that'd be boring, wouldn't it? No one wants to see Jackie all the time, despite being the best in the game. Alright, what time is it? 6:57. Cool. We'll give it 5 minutes or so, and then we'll get started. Oh, not too bad. Actually, where are you from? I can't remember. Or maybe you haven't told me, and I'm just assuming I know. Hey, Onse, how's it going? Ah, Turkey, yes. I was thinking that area around Europe, but didn't want to just guess. Hey, Watermelon, how's it going? Yes, Lusty, you're just here on time. My voice makes you melt. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. You want to learn how to kill Scorpion? Um, Maybe not in one lesson, but in a few you might. You might be able to. No problem. The first few 10 minutes is probably going to be the boring, bureaucratic red tape stuff anyway, so no worries. Yes, I did, Yonsei. In the... I can't remember what the room's called? Senpai Gab's Dojo Finny place. The classroom in there, essentially. That's where Link to the Stream is. Oh, it's Sensei Gab's Dojo now. Didn't notice the rename. How to counter collector grabs, especially Dan's grabs. Yeah, you jump and you just have to get a read of when he tries to do them. And then jump away. Like, even the better players or players you find hard to beat, they all have patterns in their attacking and defense. Reading them and then countering when you can. Damn, Dan is predictable. Yeah, exactly that. Now you can tech grab when you play him, because probably you play him so often. So when it comes to playing other players, you just have to see when they like to do their throws, and then you would able to make educated guesses on when to tech. Tech grab watermelon is basically throw breaking. So when someone throws you, you can press a button and you will break the throw instead of being thrown. And what time is it? 7:03. What do you reckon? Should I get started? Or should I wait for a couple more minutes for the late stragglers? Alright, I guess I will get started and just scold the people that are late. So, I guess, hey everybody, welcome to Gab's Dojo. Well, I guess it's my dojo, but it sounds a bit egotistical saying that, so we'll stick with Gab's Dojo for now. And basically, this is a series of lessons where I will basically aim to help the people who are willing to attend improve how to get better in MK11. I guess some stuff will be transferred or transferable to other games, but mainly MK11 is what I'm aiming for. Here we go. Now we're seeing the students struggling in. Hey Pyro, hey Azrael, how's it going? Don't worry, you haven't missed much. The inspiration for me to do this series was I've seen a lot of people have some issues with the game, some complaints about systems and characters, and as we all know, there's quite a few annoying characters out there. Shouts to Reborn Scorpion. So I figured, since I know quite a lot about fighting games from my time in competing and playing for many years, I figured why not share my knowledge to those who are struggling or those who just want to get better. So the aim, of course, is for everybody to improve, but I guess if I wanted to set a tangible goal, it would be by the end of all these lessons you should have the tools and the mindset to be a competitive or tournament player. Now that's not to say that everyone here wants to play in tournament, because some people just want to get better with their character, some just want to do good at rank and have no intention of entering a tournament. But I figured since that is the highest level you can attain, I might as well have that as the aim, and then what you learn, you can take that and then turn that to what you would want to achieve for yourself. Hey, Wild, how's it going? This is so K-pop. I'll admit this is not aimed for beginners. This is mainly aimed for players at a mid-level, like people who know their character, know their combos, but maybe struggle with specific matchups or struggle with systems like how throws work, how a poke system is like today, or know all these things but maybe do not know frame data or how to generate a game plan. That's what this series is made aimed for. However, I will be trying to explain everything as simply as possible so that if there are beginners here, they'll be able to gain some value from these lessons. Hey Dario, how's it going? So the lessons I have over the numerous weeks will be grouped from levels 1 to 3. Level 1 lessons will basically be building on the systems and concepts to learn from the game. So like throws, like pokes, like pressure, like defense. And then level 2 will be more technical topics building on top of that, so you learn the hows and whys certain things work and certain things happen. And once you get those 2 levels down, then we go to level 3, which is more applying theories and improving or having a specific mindset in order to get to those competitive levels. So things like having a game plan, like identifying patterns, that kind of thing. So yeah, each lesson will be, I'm aiming for about an hour long max, because I don't want to be talking to you for that long and for you to start falling asleep. Most of it will be about half an hour to 40 minutes of doing the actual lesson, and the last 10-15 minutes will be a general Q&A where you can ask me I don't know, things for me to go over again, maybe specific questions relating to a character or something you may have, or just a general question for you to get to know me. Yes, Pyro, going from space and then that all the way to the top, if you're ready for it. And hey Ads, how's it going? So just before we get started, a few red tape disclaimer stuff, because I don't want to get sued or giving bad advice in case people have learned stuff and then it's like, there may be some contradictions. Thanks for that, Pyro. I guess thank you, Queen Fox. So firstly, contradictions. I don't think this will happen, but there is a chance that I might explain some things in early lessons in a certain way, but later down the line I will say something that deliberately contradicts that. Now the reason that may happen is because I would want to teach you something on a base level for you to get understanding, and then once your knowledge of that is at a very good level, something else later might, how should I say it, additional levels to that topic would help change your viewpoint. So I don't think that would happen, but just in case it is, I'm putting that out there. Secondly, I'm mainly going to be using the number system to describe moves. So for those who don't know, basically the 4 attack buttons are labeled 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the square or the X button in PS4 Xbox is 1, the triangle or the Y button is 2, the A button or the X button is 3, and the circle and B button is 4, and then you have up, down, forward and back. Appreciate the props, Queen Fox. And last but not least, the elephant in the room, old frame data. Frame data is used in so many things and touches so many topics. I mean, that is just the nature of the beast. I could teach frame data along with each topic, but I feel that might be too much information overload, and especially since the variety of understanding frame data in this group is different. Some people know it inside out and there's other people who have no idea. So that will be its own separate topic down the line, not too far down the line. But for now, I'll be teaching you concepts without using frame data. And once we get to that lesson, I will start maybe revisiting back to those earlier topics so you can get a good understanding. And I think that's it. So now we've got the boring bureaucratic stuff out of the way. Let's get on with the lesson. Lusty leaves. She shouldn't be leaving. She knows frame data inside out now. In fact, she should be taking a lesson, not me. Hey Gabriel, how's it going? Right. So, lesson 1, poke system and pressure. So, let's give a showcase to my mate. And let's use Scarlet. Hey Gabriel, how's it going? I'm not too bad, thank you. Just starting this dojo. Someone pick a stage for me, please. Kite and Hive. I know that scares too many people, sorry. Let's go tournament. I haven't seen the tournament stage actually yet. I've heard it's changed for Evo, so let's have a look. Oh wow, fancy blue. Actually, let's get rid of this thing at the bottom. It's a distraction. And let's separate them a bit. Okay, so the poke system in MK11 is very polarizing. Some people like it. I know a lot of people who hate it. And it can be difficult to navigate. There is some general rules that you should follow, but for some reason not everything follows those rules. So just a quick thing for those who don't know pokes. Now pokes vary from game to game, but in MK when people refer to pokes we're talking about the crouching normal, so down ones, down threes and down fours. So down ones are your quick hitting mids, low damage, but ideally it's there to set up offense. Down threes are kind of the same, but they're usually low, usually slower than down ones, but there are a few characters that have faster down threes than down ones, such as Sonya, such as Shang Tsung. But they serve the same purpose, low damage, sets up offense. Down fours are slower, has more stun and pushback, so it's harder to follow up with your pressure, because with normals like down one you can immediately go to something like this, but with down fours you have to dash in and go for something or go for a long range normal. Now the general rules regarding pokes, well firstly the reason why people hate pokes is these people, these down one mashes. Everyone loves these guys, right? No matter what you do, when you hit them, they're still gonna press buttons and stop doing what you're doing, and you're like, what the hell's going on? Why does this happen all the time? Shout outs to Garrus, shout outs to Scorpion, shout outs to Sonya, who all love doing these things. So this lesson is basically going to explain how the system works, and and Sub-Zero Dario. It's going to explain how the system works and why people do things like this, and why it's semi-legit. Semi. Shouldn't be, but it is. So with pokes, the general rule that will work 80% of the time when you face people, if your poke starts your attack or starts your offense, so the down one hits, you can now start your pressure. The down one hits, go for your normal string, and so on. If your poke is blocked, like so, it is your opponent's turn. So really you should be blocking their counter poke or their string if they choose to do that. That is the poke system at its core. The problem is with this game is that not everything follows those rules. In fact, numerous things don't follow those rules, which is why mashes get so rewarded. So let's take an example. I'm thinking about Jackie, and when my down one hits I want to start my pressure, so let me do down one, and I think I want to follow up a down one to standing one. This is a quick fast hitting attack, can hit confirm into a combo quite easy if it hits, and so I will go for that. So what I'm going to do now is set Scarlet to ducking and block to be auto. Now, reason being is with auto block, when a character gets hit, they automatically block the next attack, which is what I want them to do in this example. And also for attacks which are guaranteed to hit, they will block it automatically standing. Like, fucking hell. Come on. There we go, like that. So, I'm Jackie, I'm thinking, yes, I'm going to go for my down one and go for my standing one as pressure. So let's give it a go, what happens? Okay. Notice my stand one doesn't reach far enough. It's actually will completely whiff on Scarlet, even if she's standing right now. It doesn't reach. So if I tried, and just for this example, I'm going to quickly switch to Scarlet and record Jackie doing the exact thing I just suggested. I can neutral duck or mash down one. Why is my mashing not working? There we go. So with that, or I can even do this and go for whatever crushing combo you count. So I guess 2 exams are worse. So due to that, despite the poke system of I hit a poke, it's my turn to do whatever I want, what actually ends up happening is if I use a move that doesn't reach, I will get counter poked with a down one or a down two. So I'm like, okay. So I've learned that even though my poke hits and it's my turn, I can't use a move that doesn't reach. So what about standing 2? That's got good range. It's a good high attack, does good damage, can confirm. That should be my go-to. So let's give that a go. I'm going to go for down 1 on hit and standing 2 to go for pressure. And yep, that doesn't work. Reason being, standing 2 is a high attack and you can neutral crouch them, and highs can only be guaranteed unblocked off certain attacks. So when a down one, when a poke hits, not every high will hit the opponent afterwards. Only some do. An example is like with Losty, with her streaming a Sonya, she will land her down 3 and Sonya's 1-3-4 string, which is the punch into the 2 kicks, always hits every single time. But if she tried another high, like her standing 3, that won't work. So as the opponent, if I know that you're following up attacks with a high, let's call Jackie. Even if it hits me, I could just neutral duck again. Wow, that's a really slow response here. There we go, that's better. Or it can even go for a down 2. And go for a combo like that. So you go for your down 1. Can't use a move that doesn't have enough reach, you will get counter poked by mashes. If you use a high that's not guaranteed to gel, which is a lot of highs, you're going to get counter poked. So, what do I do next? I think I know. I'll use a mid. Let me go for back 2, so that's got good range. Back 2 is sick. Let's go for this. Gotta block that save. Can combo into a combo as well. So yeah, let's go back 2. So, I'm gonna go for down 1 into back 2. Let's see what happens. Like that. That should be the way to go for pressure for going forward. Well, let's see if that works. Switch to Scarlet, gonna record. Counter poke. Traded. So yeah. Back 2, despite being a mid and guaranteed to be blocked, is too slow. Same thing if I went for a low attack with Jackie in this instance, like back 3. So because of that, I get counter poked. Again. Might even risk a down 2 as well. Or can I get a down 2? Let's see. Maybe not. But either way, you get counter poked with a slow mid. Okay. So back to the drawing board. What can I do once I poke an opponent? I use a fast mid. Forward 1. Forward 1, 2. That's a good mid. That's the way to go. Let's go forward 1, 1, 2. So I'm gonna set myself to Scarlet and record Jackie once again. I'm gonna do 2 recordings. So we'll record 1, and we're going to record number 2. Now, did anyone notice anything different between those 2 recordings? And let me quickly catch up in the chat while people think about that. Hey Dan, how's it going? Yes, finally opened up. Crab lessons are next week. It could be, who knows. No pyro, there's not a gap in her forward 1, 2. Hey Sarang Bay, how's it going? Indeed, Wata. Second mid was a later input. And the reason being is when it's your turn. Oops, I don't want that one. When you get hit by poke, followed up by pressure, I can't press a button. You can see me as Scarlet trying to mash down 1, doesn't work. You even get counter hit. However, if I look at input 2, even as the same mid, I'm getting counter poked. Which is another thing with the poke system. Even when your poke hits and it's your turn, if you are too slow with your follow-up moves, you are going to get counter poked. And if any of your follow-ups basically falls into one of those 4 categories, if you use a move that doesn't have enough reach, a high that doesn't guarantee its hit, a mid that's too slow, or you're too slow on your offense, those mashers who love pressing down 1s and down 2s are gonna hit you. And as annoying as it is, we kinda just have to hold it. And to be fair, it's similar to if you block a poke, which I will get to in a second. Has something to do with startup frames. Depending on the move you use, Gabriel, it might do. As with the example I gave with Jackie's back 2, because it's a slower move generally, you will get counterpoke. Will standing one also work if you're too slow? Standing ones vary from character to character. For Jackie, standing ones don't work ever. Pretty much. Most of the time it will whiff on most scenarios, and then you will get counterpoked or crushing blowed uppercut at worst. Scorpions, maybe. We can look into that in a bit. Sonya's forward 2 does work, but requires strict timing, as does her back 1. So, with that, what is the best advice to navigate the counterpoke system? First thing is, well, actually, before I even go into that, I would say these 4 rules that I mentioned works on the reverse. So if I record a Jackie just mashing down 1, represented online, a Scarlet, can't stand in poke, go straight overhead. If I go and use her mid, which is forward 4, generally too slow. It might work. Oh, it's working there. Let's go for it again. There we go. Doesn't always work. And because of that, it gives mashers an advantage as well. J's back 2 wouldn't work since it's a high. It might not. It's one of those things, unfortunately, with this game. Even though a lot of highs wouldn't work, there are some that would. So you kind of have to check which ones do and which ones don't. And the way to do that is actually how I set up Scarlet earlier. So you go to training mode. You set the opponent to duck and auto block, and basically to get them to, if they're auto blocking, they'll take the hit and they'll automatically block the next attack. So to check if your highs work, they should automatically block your high poke after a down 1 hits, no matter how fast you do it. If you find you're doing it at the fastest time and it doesn't end up blocking it, then you know it doesn't work. And Scarlet's forward 2 does not work because it's a bit too slow. Yep, Water is correct. The timing to take advantage is strict. It is one of those things you kind of do have to practice. As much as that sucks, you don't want to practice doing pokes. That's not fun. You want to do combos and stuff, setups, punishing people stuff, or doing loop throws as Garrus, because that's fun. So back to the poke system. Everything sucks when you down 1 hits because your opponents mash against highs, moves that are too slow, mids that are too slow, or if you're too slow with your timing, not typing. So what is the best advice to do? Best advice is, let me switch to Jackie quick. When your poke hits, go for a mid, a fast mid, if you've got one. So Jackie is blessed. She's one of the few that has got one of the fastest standing mids in the game, in forward 3. So when your poke hits, like you're down 1, you go for your fastest mid, because it will beat any kind of counter poking. And just to prove a point, I'm just gonna switch to Scarlet and record Jackie doing exactly that. So cannot press a button. Can't jump. Can't do anything about it. And that is the best advice I can give you for when your poke hits. Why do you hate the kick, Lusty? The kicks are cool. That's awesome. Forward 3 is one of the best moves in the game. Should appreciate it. Anyway, so what if you are blocking your opponent's counter poke? Because as I mentioned before, under Jim, surprised to see you here. Nice to see you here. How's it going? We'll get to throws at another time. So the other thing is, if your opponent does a down one and you block it, as I mentioned, and it's a general rule, if a poke is blocked, it is your turn. But if you counter poke with highs or moves that are too slow, you're going to get beat out with whatever they're going to do. So Jackie's now going to represent online, going to be the mashing scrub. Johnny Buttons here. Will Jackie do down 3 or with some pokes of the opponent if they block down 3? Yep, that's true. A Scorpion spamming forward 3, forward 3. What about the armored move game that teaches you in tutorial flawless block into punish? That is an option, Pyromaniac, and that is going to be covered in a different topic. So when you block a poke from your opponent and you want to take your turn, if you don't have a fast mid like Jackie, because you know Scarlet is not blessed, you go over your own counter poke. You own down one, and then you start taking your turn. Start following with your pressure afterwards. Just an example, I'm just following up with a mid string. Like so. Now, if for some reason mid or your pokes doesn't reach, I mean they should all reach, but if for some reason they don't, your other option is to walk back and with punish. Yes, Dan. Someone like Frost, yes. You either poke back or walk back and with punish, or start your turn like so. Now, if for some reason you can't whiff punish, you can block and backdash just to reset the neutral. Reset the space and continue playing the game from there. Now, that would suck if that is your only option, but at least it's an option to beat mashers. Yes, para walk back speeds vary, so that's why I say you use walking back, but if you find that's not fast enough, you use backdashes. It's one of those things you have to experiment with, and a lot of those things that you do have to practice. So just a quick summary. General rule that will happen most of the time: your down 1 or your down 3 hits, your pokes hits, it's your turn. If the opponent blocks your poke, it's their turn. But if your poke hits and you follow up with a move that falls under these 4 categories, if it doesn't reach your opponent, like it's too short, or if it's a high that doesn't jail or doesn't guarantee, or if it's a mid that's too slow, or if you use a fast enough mid but you're too slow taking advantage, you're going to lose to down 1s and down 2s all the time. So your best bet is when your poke hits, as Jim says, go for a throw, because people love down 1s to throw. If not that, you go for your fastest mid. If your mid is not fast enough, if it still loses to pokes, you go for your own poke, your own down 1 or your own down 3 if it's quick enough, and then take your turn. If neither of those work, you walk back and then whiff punish. If that doesn't work for whatever reason, then you just backdash and reset the neutral game and play for there. Losty forward 4 is Scarlet's mid. 4 is a high, as you can see. But even forward 4 is not the quickest mid in the world, so you might lose out to some mashing pokes. Some characters also cancel their poke into safe specials. What is the best option in those circumstances? People like to do that to catch people, because the general idea in like the poke war, you often see someone do a down 1, it's blocked, they return with a down 1, that's blocked, that other person return back with a down 1, that's blocked, etc. So as the read, people would do down 1 cancelled into specials. I personally think it's dumb and that shouldn't exist, but alas, NRS has been doing that since MK9. So when people do that, yes, kind of Losty. It's kind of safe in a way. Your best option is actually to hold it, if not backdash. Would it make sense to go into down 1 then pull up a parry? John was getting rid of that mind box. Yeah, because people get used to having a move on block and automatically pressing a button because they know it's their turn. As I said, the general rule of when you block a poke, it is your turn, so therefore it's my turn to press a button, do my own poke, my own mid. So when people do a poke into a parry, it's deliberately to catch people counter poking, so it is a legitimate tactic. But if you catch on to that, you can let the parry run its course and then punish them for a full combo. So yeah, that is generally how the poke system works. I hope people understood that. I hope I explained it well, not sure, or hope I didn't go too fast or people didn't get lost. If there's anything that you want me to go over again, please just shout out now. Show me a down 1, down 3 masher. A lot of people are in this game, and to be honest, you're not the only one. Even in high level tournaments, at the heat of battle, when people have 5 to 10% left, you see them mashing down 1 to get those last hits to win. So you know, I main thrust and down 1 a hit is plus 10. If I follow down 1 with back 3, 60 frames, does it always work if I time it correctly? It should do, but due to the gap in that size, you might get countered with a fatal blow or with a flawless block into a punish, but that will be covered in a different lesson. Whose parry can be broken in game other than Jade's with a low? Anyone with a parry loses to a low attack, or if you wait for it to recover, you can beat it with a standard combo. Much appreciated, thank you for the thank yous. And I guess just a quick thing to go over pressure, because I didn't mention that in the topic. One standing. So with pressure, generally speaking, when you not block all, not auto. When you do a string, normally that's the end of your turn, and then your opponent can counter with their own poke or with their own string. There are exceptions to the rule, but I will cover those once we get into the frame data lesson and talk about advantage there. So the way to keep pressure going, some characters have cancels. It's not in this variation, but of course, actually let me just quickly switch to KO, because everyone loves KO. I kind of missed a lesson for a call. I'm sure you did great. I'm going to upload the archive onto YouTube as well, so for people who did miss the lesson can at least watch it there. Oh, why do I have that skin? I don't want that skin. Where's my proper KO? There we go. That's better. There we go. That's my skin. Best skin in the game. You know what? Actually, this skin is cursed, to go on a little tangent. I've been wanting this skin since day one, and apparently it's been in the crypt, and I've probably entered the crypt 1.5 times over, spent about 2.5 million in the shrine, haven't got it. Finally got it when they did a Twitch Rivals special tower, and since I've got it I haven't won online. I lose matches, I lose sets, I can't win. So I don't know whether NRS has deliberately cursed this skin for me so that I can never win with it. But anyway, in terms of pressure, please tell me saving this video. I'm welcome, gonna miss a lot of this. Yes, I can. I will save this video and I will upload it on YouTube as well. Gabshow 422, thanks. There you go. Right, so pressure. With pressure, once you do your string, it's usually the end of your turn, and the opponent can follow up with whatever string they want. As I said, there was strings that don't follow that rule and can make it your turn still, but I will cover that in frame data. Another way people do things to continue pressure is cancels. As you know, you've probably seen that one a lot. That one a lot. And that's the way people try to do that to keep their turn. Another way that people try to maintain pressure is what's called stagger strings. Now what you don't know, in case you didn't know, what staggers are is basically ending your strings early to throw off an opponent. So as an example, we have Jackie's 4-3-1-4 string. 3-hit string, easily can be seen that, you know, can be blocked easily. So what people might do to stagger is do this string often so the opponent get used to it, but then they'll just do forward 3. And with that, your opponent doesn't have enough time to react because they're expecting the rest of the string to come. So they'll expect forward 3 1 4 to come, but instead you can do forward 3 and then you might do 1 1 2. And the reason people do that is so you can counter their attacks, or the standard of staggering into a throw, because people love doing that. So learning staggers is a good idea of maintaining pressure if you wanted to keep on the opponent, but be wary that it does lose to mashes, or if people read it. Let me just do a quick record. No, I don't want to do that one to the block all. Oh, what am I doing? Normal. Oh, there we go, finally. So I've got 4 3 1 4 4 3 4 3. So I'm gonna block the string, 4 3 stagger, counter poke. That is the risk to staggers. So if your opponent reads it, or for some reason likes mashing, it can lose to it. So it's not the be all end all foolproof solution to winning. I can see people listing the normals that are common. Yep, subs forward to Yonsei, back 3 for Jade. Yep, Kayla back 4. Those are very simple, similar ones. So that is really it with terms of pressure. When you go for your string, usually the end of your string is your turn, or for a safe special, it's the end of your turn. And then if you want to continue your pressure, you use things like staggers, as I've showed you, and cancels to keep your pressure going. So yeah, I guess with that, that is the end of the first lesson. So still got like about 10 minutes or so. So if people, I guess this is now for general Q&A. So any questions you want to throw out there, generally or specifically, by all means, feel free. And you know what, Barto? I have no idea what the crown means. I'm very new to streaming and Twitch. No clue. I'll see if I can find out and I'll let you know. And yes, Sedenian Girl, just got a little bit of info there. I will upload the lesson onto YouTube as well, so people can watch the archive. Ah, it means you use Twitch Prime. That makes sense. Where do I live? Live in England. How about that? Will your lessons be longer in the future like Lossie's? Of course, I know you're busy, just like hearing you. They might do. It depends on the topics that I want to cover and how much I need to cover. As well as people, if they feel like there's some things they want me to go over again, then there might be more time for me to do that. But take it case by case. Ah, Molly, hi, how's it going? Hope you're well. So best thing to do when they poke is walking back. It varies from character to character. It's one of those things you do have to try and experiment with. Because that's the one thing about fighting games, especially, you do have to try a lot of things to learn what works and what doesn't. So like for you, Lusty, because you main Sonya, top tier hero. Your down 3 is a pretty good counter poke, so when you block something, just go for down 3. If you're lucky, forward 4 might work. So it's more experimenting and finding out. Would you stream in your own free time sound lessons? You know what, I wish I could, but my internet sucks, so I can't do online stuff and stream at the same time, unless you want to watch matches in like 30 frames per second, or lags matches to the highest extreme. If I do get better internet, I will try and sort it, but at this moment in time, unlikely. When would you use down 4 pokes? I use them as in a way, a space control tool. So when they are about, let's get rid of playback. Don't want to custom. So I will learn the range. So as you know, Scar's down 4 is pretty far. So when they hover around about this range, that's when I use it. So around the max range that a down 4 will hit, and then follow up from there. Or just reset the neutral if you are a zoner. It creates more space because of the pushback on block and on hits. I'm gonna learn a new character on MK. Interesting. It's a weird question, but if you turn off connect to network in settings, does the game session end? Probably, to be fair. I have never tried it. Are you ever going to do a lesson about people zoning and what to do against them? Yes. What topic is that under? Let me just quickly check. It will probably be a level 3 lesson, to be honest, because that is going to be more about applying stuff that you have learned from previous lessons. But a lot of it is to do with patience. I can actually give you a quick thing now. I'll give you a very quick sneak preview to a lesson very far into the future. So I want to be Jackie, and I want to record. I want to set them full screen, and I want to record Scarlet doing stuff. So let's go Bloodshot. So this is quite common. People throw projectiles all day long and you're trying to get in. So you're blocking, or you're neutral ducking, you're moving in your patience. This range here, this spot here, if I just stop Scarlet here. When you reach this range, at this spot where Jackie is from full screen, this is actually the time where you need the most patience. When people say you need to be patient against zoning, just duck and crouch and get in. Once you get here, this is where you have to express the most, because people get here and get excited and think, right, I'm in. Now I'm going to do my attack. I'm going to dash in, or I'm going to jump in here and get my jump kick, or do my long range normal here, and I can start my turn. But normally you are not at the right position at this time. So when you go for a move, you get hit by a projectile that sends you further back, gets you salty, and you're back to where you started, or trying to crouch and get back in again. So really, once you get into this range, this should be the range where they stop using projectiles, but it should allow you to walk them down and close space. And once you get from here to about here, that's when you can start attacking. So when it comes to zoning from full screen, You do your neutral crouch, you do your quick normals and crouching, and eventually they'll back themselves to a corner as well. Once you get to here, don't get overexcited, still maintain your patience, still maintain you get close to your attacks for reach, and then you go for your pressure there. Hope that answers your question, Gabriel. I see some people also poke under projectiles. Why do they do that? Is it just a check or something? It's because a lot of projectiles are high and don't jail after pokes, so people just down one to steal their turn. That's essentially the reason why. As well as people who are just obsessed with pressing buttons, because everyone loves to press buttons. Which actually reminds me to one thing as well, for the overall Dojo series and what I'm aiming to do for you people. One of the most important things a player needs to know in improving and in fighting games in general is why you press a button. Every time you press a button, every time you do a move, there has to be a reason as to why you do it. You don't say that you do it for the sake of doing it, or because you feel like doing it. I mean, you can do, but at that point, you're kind of not learning anything, you can't improving on anything. There's no thought process, no game plan to what you're trying to do. So hopefully by the end of this, if there's a reason that you pressed standing one here, even if it's the wrong reason, even if it leads to you getting punished, if you at least know in your head why you did that, that is making progress. That is you realizing that I made a decision here because I was thinking this, it was wrong, maybe I need to change it, or what can I do to do different. Let's see what else people are saying. It's also good to know your opponent's character footsie range, that's true. You also need to learn to hit confirm. Yup, that's going to be a lesson down the line. You're welcome, Wata. Cassie and her low shots, she wouldn't even need to get in, would she? Yeah, Cassie has one of the best counter zoning in the game on top of zoning with that low shot. And then because of her far ranging normals like forward 4 and back 2, yeah, she doesn't really need to get in. He kind of just plays the game and lets people come to her, and when it comes to her, she basically owns that range anyway. So she's hella strong. Ah, Seacat, nice to see you here. Thank you very much. And yeah, that's what I'm hoping. This content is good for people to hope get better, and yeah, you know, hopefully people actually learn something from this. Hopefully I'm a good enough teacher to teach people this kind of thing. But thanks for stopping. This is better than therapy. Why is it better than therapy, Pyro? I'm intrigued. How many times Scarlet cut her own hands at the beginning of the stream? That's a good point. She shouldn't have a hand left by the end of it. Surprised. Some deep scars in that hand. What should I do when people have me in a corner and keep jump attacking me? Wake up? Yes. If people are literally, that's all they do, knock you down in a corner and jump attack. Wake up 2s with beat jumps. Forward rolls, just jump. If you are good with anti-airs, then you can anti-air as you get up, if their move is too late. What else can you do? If you are brave or too scared, I mean, well, not so brave, if you are scared of doing any of those, well, you can also delay wake up as well, of course. You can just block and hold whatever string they're going to do. And when they do their string and it ends, it's your turn, so you start your own pressure. How long are you going on? Not that I wanted to stop. You want rid of me, Gabriel? Is that it? No, only just going to be for a few more minutes, and then I'm gonna stop. Can I only ask something about the poking or other things? Anything. At the end of each lesson, it's just a general Q&A, whether it's about the game or just general stuff of wanting to get to know me, because you know, I don't want this to be just like just a teacher-student kind of thing. I'd like for you to just be able to talk and say some stuff, whatever. Alright, let me just have a quick sip of water, because I've been talking for a while now. Jeez. Oh, the calming voice, the spiritual quotes you put out, your optimistic and open mindset to aid everyone no matter how mundane their questions may be. I remember asking you to help me with cast on a combo I couldn't do, and you told me to press 2 buttons at the same time to get the combo. I felt so dumb, but you understand it. I appreciate the kind words, Pyro. I really do appreciate it. And that is the aim for things like this, is to hopefully help people get better, because in my experience through numerous years and from playing a lot of people and just listening to people talk, there's a lot of good players out there that can't seem to break into that next level, or they either plateau at a certain stage, or they know what to do to get to the next level but find things maybe a bit too I don't know, thought-provoking, a bit too much, a bit too technical. And a lot of things in fighting games present themselves as complicated, but I think they're actually more simpler than people realize. It's just breaking that initial barrier, and if I can help do that and help improve the player base generally, then at least, like I say, I've contributed to something, because likelihood of me competing and winning tournaments are kind of slim now, so got to contribute in some different way. So anyway, I'll take a few more and then I'll disappear. Sometimes when I'm in a corner I get knocked down, I do up 2 wake up because I think they jump, and when I make the right read and they jump, the up 2 are completely with what's that, or what can I do instead. Sadly, Walter, Jade's up 2 kinda sucks. So if that's an issue, I'm trying to think, what could you do with Jade? Down 2 would be a good option, because it's got the range and you will catch them high enough that you might be able to follow up with a back 3 or a back 2 into a small combo. Aside from that, you probably will have to go for like standing 1 anti-airs. Is Scorpion one of Jay's worst matchups, or am I just playing bad against him? I rarely win versus him. It's a tough one. I mean, teleport kind of nullifies her zoning quite easily, so if you're throwing projectiles at a range that he can react to, you're eating a combo. Mid-range, because of his back 1, he can probably compete decently well with Jade. But I think, actually, not to be fair, it might be, I don't know if it's a worst, but I can see it being a difficult one, because even when you use your staff, you are generally unsafe, and he might be able to punish things because of his back 1 range. So it is a matchup that feels like you have to play that smartly. Gab, what's the best thing to do against Sub-Zero spam? What is he spamming? And actually that's another thing that I should lead to. I know people complain about things that people spam and people claim it's cheap and whatnot, and as frustrating as those things are, if you want to improve as a better player, you kinda have to put that to one side. Can't treat it as spam and cheap stuff. You have to treat them as these are moves that are in the game, these are what people do. I need to find out a way to navigate around it. And usually if people are legitimately spammers, they always do the same thing. They have a certain pattern. So once you find out how that pattern works and how to counter it, it becomes a lot more simpler. I don't like being Jade versus Scorpion. Imagine not many people do. Will it work with other characters that up to? Yep, if they've got better up twos, then yes, up twos would generally work against jumps in the corner. Not for Jackie though, because Jackie's one sucks as well. How do you beat Lassie's projectile spam? You duck and you block. There's actually certain ranges where you can duck and then jump over the second projectile, but that's super risky because of the crushing blow. But it might be helpful in case you need to avoid chip damage death. The slide, the overhead, especially the overhead, the axe throw, all that. So with Sub-Zero, the overhead is used in terms of a 50-50 mix-up between his low and, as I said, the overhead. It's generally a case of learning what to block and then what you can do afterwards, because the stuff you've mentioned, the slide, the overhead, the axe throw, a lot of that is punishable. If not that, it is blatantly your turn to start your offense. So with slides, I notice most Sub-Zeros generally have a pattern of doing it. They would do it after the overhead, or they would do it when literally about this range where a max ranger will hit and where you would likely throw a projectile. So at those times, like around here, you might as well block low because there's no reason to block high. Try and get used to the overhead. People say it's reactable. I say I'm not so sure, but it's hard to do it online, especially. So it's one of those things you do have to practice blocking and then doing a counter attack. Why is most of the defense moves against just absorbing them rather than reflecting them? What do you mean, Watermelon? Can you give me an example? Every time I face Losty Sonny, it feels like she's playing COD while I'm playing an obstacle game. Ah, okay. Most of the moves are absorbing and reflecting. I think it's just standard system design. They just designed the game to absorb the projectiles instead of reflect. That's pretty much it. Anyway, I have taken a lot of your time already. I appreciate everyone stopping by. I'm not used to this self-promotion thing, but I guess subscribe to this channel, follow this channel, I don't know. And then get notifications when I'm next doing streams. I aim to make this fortnightly, so at least have a lesson every 2 weeks. If I can do it sooner, then I will do it sooner. But yeah, that's the end of lesson 1. Poke system and pressure. Hopefully you've learned something. Hopefully you can take those ideas into training mode and matches, and hopefully it becomes a bit more bearable now against those smashes. As for the next lesson, I initially was going to do the art of defending, which is basically talking about wake-ups, anti-airs, composure from pressure, that kind of thing, using the wake-up system and the roll system. So when you're under pressure, how to like defend. But I know the throw system is very, very popular in terms of love and hate. I mean, everyone knows how I feel about throws. I love them to death. They're the greatest thing ever. In fact, they should do more damage. I don't think 14% is enough. It should be 30% minimum. That's what it should be. And then 60% crushing blows. Then those girls' throws will be sick. But on a serious note, I will post in the Dojo classroom, and you guys let me know what you would prefer. If you prefer me to do Art of Defending next, or the throw system next, and then that will be the next lesson. Well, thank you all for the thanks and the well wishes. Glad you found it helpful and informative, Watermelon. Really helpful. Thanks, Sarang Bay. Should maybe do a quick recap summary to pin in the channel. Actually, that's a good point. Thank you very much for that, Dan. I'm going to note that down. To keep in mind to do that. And I guess that way, if people missed it and just want to watch the recap, they get an idea of what it was about. They just want the cliff notes. Thank you, Icon, for the for the threats. Much appreciated. Okay, that's pretty much it. Thanks again for watching, guys. I will keep you updated when the next lesson is, and yeah, I'll catch you soon. Yeah, catch you soon. Thanks again, guys. Take care.